Hey everyone, Soundwave84 here, the Transformers Legacy United review. This is going to take a look at Animated Universe Optimus Prime. This is a Voyager class figure. Up here we have the box art, or the box packaging of the figure. Nice little box art for the animated alt mode. Turn to the side, we get the robot mode here. The head skull's right up there. Turn to the side. 25 steps, this will get you all the way around. This is celebrating 40 years of Transformers from 1984 to 2024. Side, you get your Legacy United artwork. And the good thing is these boxes are a little more sturdier than the previous Legacy Evolution. Inside the packaging you get your handy dandy instructions and the figure with accessories. Overall, it's a nice figure. I haven't really ordered much of the Legacy United just because I'm like, if I find it, I find it. I'm more like into G1, but I do like animated and some of the looks. And these are G1ified animated figures. And we've got Bulkhead so far, and we got Prowl. Bumblebee and Optimus Prime have come out in the United ways here. I do not have Bumblebee, but I do have Optimus Prime here. And I want to say that Prowl and Optimus Prime here are more on the animated side. They still are stylized G1-esque figures, still stylized towards the animated look. Bulkhead less so than this Optimus Prime and Prowl. Like I said, I don't have Bumblebee here to compare with these figures. And Bulkhead, I just have in vehicle mode to compare him in vehicle mode. Because road mode, he's very blocky. At least with Prowl and with this Optimus Prime here, we do have some different different angles on the figure. He's not just straight up blocks. He's got slopes and angles going on here. So it gives you a look closer to the animated feel. Well, I didn't watch every episode. That was one show I did watch on Saturday mornings because it came on Saturday mornings. And I watched it with my oldest daughter, Thomas. She's my only daughter at the time the show came on. Because she watched Care Bears. I watched this. So with the figure here, you do get this axe here. This will be located inside the box. Also, his little light bar back here is located inside the box. Make sure you find it. It's not in tissue packaging. It is just shoved into the box and strapped in by some of those plastic ties. You can see even that has a spot here. He wants to store his battle axe. You do have multiple points here. You can store that on his back. It's just going to be big and kind of bulky on his back. Get in my belly. It doesn't want to work for me. There we go. I can store right there on his backside. So he doesn't have to be holding his battle axe. And he still can stand perfectly fine. But he is kind of weighty to the torso. He's got more slender legs here than his torso is big and bulky. You know, overhangs in the front, overhangs in the back. So he can become top heavy if you're just fiddling with him. You can make him fit backwards pretty easily. Because he doesn't really have any heel spurs. I saw this and I thought maybe that's supposed to fold out at first. But it does not. So that is probably the biggest negative I have on this figure. Is this in robot mode, he can become top heavy, and battle axe is kind of big and bulky, and it's really hard to shove into this plastic. And this is actually translucent plastic. It is just painted up, so that can be a danger if you're trying to shove something there that's too tight. You could crack that plastic. Let's do a quick comparisons here. We're going to bring in Animated or Universe Prowl from, I believe he's Legacy Evolution. Like I said, I do not have the Legacy United Bumblebee, the Animated Universe Bumblebee. Here is Rise of the Beast Bumblebee. Just put a Bumblebee in this. I'm actually decently impressed by this figure. I saw it in stores, and I was like, oh, I'll go ahead and pick this guy up. It does have the mouth here, not the battle mask, which is fine, because in the show he did have his mouth out probably just about much as the battle mask. And most of the shows, especially from Beast Wars on, tend to show Prime a lot of times with just a mouth. Backside. And he cleans up fairly well. Hollow bits, mostly the inner thighs here are hollow. He's got a few spots on his arm. It's right there, then up here, but that's for articulation and everything. It's really just the legs are going to be your biggest offenders for the hollow parts. And he does have flaps here in the wrist, so his hand's actually attached to that. But it is still on the ball joint, so you still get that movement here. So at least he's got some covers that hide that. That's something I feel that they didn't have to do with this figure, because the whole paneling stuff kind of hides in alt mode. So it's just nice that they did this here. So articulation on this, you get shoulders up to here. You get the upper bicep swivel. You get double jointed elbows, adult pins here, because in transformation you're going to fold this up anyway. You get your wrist swivels 360 that around because it's on a ball joint. So you get some expressiveness with that. You get a 360 waist articulation, almost a full splits. He hits it right there, so it's not full. You get upper thigh swivels here. Also kick back, and you back to there, forward up to here. You get really good knee bends right here. Ankle articulations to there. And the feet do come untabbed, so you can move them around a little bit more for some more movement, but that's not really going to hold. It's just if he's going to be the back foot while he's running, you can angle that out, at least to give this kind of movement. So robot mode, I'm going to say overall is my favorite mode of this figure. We'll about to transform it in just a minute. Again, the biggest negative in robot mode is just the feet, because it can't come untabbed. He kind of feels a little wobbly down there, and his torso is really big, so he can become top heavy, but he does stand perfectly fine when he's all together. You can move him around. I had to slam him around there, but he started leaning, but yeah, that's the biggest problems there. I didn't show the head articulation. You get a down, you can get an up out of this as well. You can 360 it all the way around. Sorry, I forgot to show the head articulation. We do have this right here, so he's got a decent head moving there. And with all this articulation, he can pose fairly well. Give him some good poses. Like I said, though, he could just become a little bit top heavy. So let's go ahead and start transforming Animated Universe Optimus Prime. Now, the first time I transformed this guy, I didn't even look at the instructions. I was able to figure him out fully. So he's not a hard transformation, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to do it step by step following the actual instructions, so we can go by the way Hasbro wants us to transform this figure. So I'm going to straighten his hands out here. So first thing we're going to do is come down to his feet and pull these down. Then you're going to pull his legs out. They actually come up here. He's got sort of like that, was it Titan's Return Cup leg transformation. This opens up like this, and you can straighten this up like that. There's just a tab right there that catches on the legs. Bring it like that. Then we're going to bring this out. There's another tab here that caught on the other part of the legs. So we'll bring this out to like this. And there's a tab and a slot here. And we're just going to tab that together. Now it's easy because it just kind of goes like this, and you can just slide that down and catch it. So you don't have to force a tab, it just slides over. Bring his arms out to the side, come back part here. It's just these two gray tabs here. There's some slots down here in the back piece here. We're going to bring this up like that. Now you take these gray parts here, we're going to pull these to the sides, and you get undo his front section, like a little slight pull up, and then you can bring these out all the way like this. Bring that out to the side like this. Now we're going to swivel him up here 180 degrees at the torso. Like this. Now we're going to take his legs, and they're going to come up and over this. There's slots on his legs, tabs right here. They're going to catch in that. So bring these up. That. There's also these little catch right here. It's going to catch inside up here. So I'm just going to push that in. Get that into his thighs as well. Now his feet are going to come up. There's these two little pegs. Two holes here. I'm just going to bring this up. And we're just going to peg that in. That. Same on the other side. Now locks his legs to his torso and waist area. Take his hands, just push these down, fold them in like that, close it back up. Pull the torso piece here down. Then you're going to rotate him around to just like this. You want the joint facing up. Raise his arms up like this, and then we're going to fold them at the elbow joint, tab, slot in. You can tell that because you're just lining up the outside of the alt mode here, the silver stripe and everything's got to line up. Now you want to pull these down this way, bring the whole piece up like this. And you're going to fold the wheel parts down into here. There's this tab here. You're going to tap into the gray part. This part here, I am going to do slightly different than the instructions. I'm going to bring this part up first. I'm going to bring this up. You can see these tabs and stuff are going to slot in. There's these little gaps here. Those slots, these tabs here are going to catch right into that. It's because it's going to make it easier for me to get the back piece into this as well. So get the sides in, then get the top part in. And once you got that in, you're going to take this back piece here. See these little tabs, the gap, they're going to go right over these little bars. So you can bring this up over, push that down. Now it gets the cab section. Now you're just going to close this up. You see these little slots here. There are these tabs right here in the black piece. Just bring this up, catch it, and there we go. We have transformed Optimus Prime into his alt mode. Now you can take his big axe with these tabs. They show it with a clear tab here, a translucent tab. You can tab it on here. Push too hard, you can unpeg the little feet. But there you go. You have now transformed Optimus Prime into his alt mode. Vehicle mode rolls just fine. All tires, they're not pinned in. I seem to be those little snap-in tires. They're awfully thin, but a little bit bigger than some of the other ones. So he rolls all right here. Closer look at the alt mode. We got black painted windows here, yellow painted lights on the front. You get the little grill here, some silver paint on the side. More, at least they painted the windows the same color all the way around. Black paint down here. We get the light bar up top. Turn the back side. He taps it all nice. I kind of wish we could get some red paint or something here, but I understand the transformation. It's going to have to fold and close up. The red paint eventually could scratch off or rub off. Toy Hacks might make stickers for this, but again, closing these legs up repeatedly might rub the stickers off eventually. Well, it's not bad. The vehicle mode for me is the weak link in this figure, and it's still overall not bad, like I said. It does evoke the animated Optimus Prime. Now, it's nowhere near the beef that those animated figures were, but you do get, I think, a lot more articulation out of this Prime than we got out of the previous one. I actually never had animated Prime. I did have like some of the figures like Shockwave in them, Wreck-Gar and stuff, but I eventually sold all of them. I sell a lot of them older stuff, but it's not bad. Alright, some comparisons with other figures. Here is Legacy Bulkhead, Voyager class, and Voyager class 3. He's actually in Leader class, but I think this actually might be, this is Netflix Prime. He's Voyager class figure. So we get a sense of scale with there. Bulkhead, again, it's part of the animated universe, but I think they did more G1-esque look on Bulkhead than they did on Prowl and here on Optimus Prime. We'll just go ahead and pull this Prime out just to show you some of the size here. And Prime is just as wide and big. It's just not as long as Bulkhead. We'll bring Bulkhead out. Bring in Optimus Prime. This Prime, of course, is more slender and sleek. More Earth mode, of course. Just as long. He's not as beefy as animated Optimus Prime. Alright, so final thoughts on the animated universe Optimus Prime from Legacy United. I like it. It evokes animated enough. It's not as G1-ified as Bulkhead. And I do like here, I got Prowl sitting on top of him, riding on top of Optimus Prime, carrying his axe. Kind of reminiscent of the old Galvatron on top of Ultra Magnus from the comic books. It's a nice figure. I think the robot mode is the clear winner out of this over the alt mode. He is going to be kind of top heavy in robot mode though. He does have a very bulky torso. So that'd be the one thing to watch out for. He will become top heavy. Otherwise, it's a nice figure. I really do like it. It evokes animated to me more so than it does a G1-ified animated. And thanks for watching. To the next ones. Peace out.